Hey, what's up, Market Moose? Mike for the Moose on the Loose. I hope you're doing well today. Today I told you already, we're gonna talk about how to create an investor confidence flywheel. Hesitation is a killer. When I run survey through my newsletter or with my DSR members, and I ask them, "What's your number one struggle?" The answer is either I don't know what or when to buy, or I don't know what or when to sell. And that comes from that lack of conviction, right? We hesitate. We're just like, is it the right time? Is it the right company? Am I making a mistake by doing that? And how can we solve this big problem? Because sitting on the sideline, not doing anything with cash is a big opportunity cost, and not touching your portfolio because you hesitate to do something could cost you dearly as well. So how can we solve this super big problem with hesitation? Well, by creating a confidence flywheel. And what's a flywheel anyway? Well, a flywheel, when you think about that, is whenever each iteration that you do produce even more, and it's easier to keep repeating. So it goes, and then you get a rhythm, and a little bit like when you go for a morning walk, once you get that beat, you get that pace, you just keep up, and you can run for like miles and miles, or kilometers if you're Canadian like me, right? So you just run forever and it feels good. So how can we do that with investment? Well, I actually have a few strategies, a few tips for you to help you build that conviction. So the first thing you have to do is to make your investment process simple. Investing, if it's complicated, you're going to feel overwhelmed. That's going to create hesitation, and it's going to be tough to invest, right? So in order to make it simple, you need frameworks, right? For example, to build my investment thesis, I always start with summarizing the business model, and then I have three simple categories. I identify what's the playbook. So the playbook is like how the company generates money, literally. So a good understanding, if I can write down how a company is able to generate money, it's easier for me after that to identify growth vectors. So that's the second part. So how this business will continue to be relevant in the future. And then I will identify the economic moats or competitive advantages. So this company, I understand how it makes money. I understand how it should grow in the future. And what are the ways that are better than other competitors? So by making it simple, it's easy to remember. It's easy to rephrase or to explain to your friend, or when the stock is down. So it makes your life a lot easier. The second tip that I have here about making it simple is to follow a simple set of metrics. You know me, I focus on the dividend triangle, which is the trend for revenue, earnings per share, and dividend over the past 5 and 10 years. And that helps me to cut down 80% of the stocks, if it's not more, and just focus on the 20% that matters for my strategy. Of course, I'm going to discard companies that I shouldn't, but that's not the point. The point is to focus on 20% of the great stocks that will generate great returns in my portfolio. And again, to keep it simple. It's easier this way, so I can ignore the news, I can ignore the noise, and I can focus on my investment process. If you want to learn more about how to set up your investment process, you can subscribe to my free newsletter at moosemarkets.com/newsletter. So it's moosemarkets.com/newsletter. You're going to receive a lot of information about how to build your buy process and how to build your sell process to make it easier. Now, trick number 2, make it fast. Once it's simple, you want to have it fast. Why fast? Because if it takes too long, if it's complicated, well, again, we don't like that, right? And when it's easy and fast, you're going to put it in place. You're going to follow it. How can you make it fast? Well, most of the time, unfortunately, the solution for that is to pay a little bit for a service that will help you, providing you with tools or with research. For example, I use a lot my own investment website, Dividend Stocks Rock. So I use the DSR Pro report to review all my earnings quarterly. So instead of going into each press release and make the calculation and look at all of this, I just read the report that is being generated from the platform. So I take maximum 2 hours per quarter. So every 3 months, 2 hours, not much, right? And I can get all the information that I need from that report. You could also try to build a AI assistant that will do that for you. So that's another way you can save. And this one will probably be even cheaper. But if you are able to find a service that is aligned with your investment strategy, that is probably the perfect way to make it easier and faster at the same time. Okay, so make it simple, make it fast. Third thing, make it clear. And this one, completely free. What is important is to have simple investment rules. When it's clear, again, you follow it. If not, you hesitate, you put some doubts, and then you wonder instead of taking action. So for example, my buy rules, it could be summarized into something super simple, almost too simplistic. If I have a strong investment thesis that is backed by metrics, so the dividend triangle, I will buy if I have money. So not when. Well, when is when I have money. That's as simple as that. So I have a few more rules to determine what is it about the sectors or about the position, the weight of the position in my portfolio. But really, investment thesis, backed by metrics, I have the money, I click on the buy button. Selling rules. Well, again, I use the same strategy here. Investment thesis that is not backed by financial metrics, or a bad investment thesis, there you go, I move. No dividend increase, I move. Overexposure, I move. So the overexposure is super simple. When one of my winner keeps on running up and becomes too big in my portfolio, well, at 10%, I sell 2 to 3% right away. So I don't ask myself, is company ABC is going to continue to thrive in the next 5 years? Is this a good investment or a bad investment? Should I take my profit? I don't ask any of that. I'm just saying, hey, you're 10%, you're going back to 8, or you're going back to 7. And there you go. And then I move on. It takes literally 2 minutes, which is amazing. So I have no idea where the company is going to go anyways in the next 5 years. And your guess is as good as mine. But if I follow my investment rules, I make it clear. So simple, fast, clear. What's left? Well, you want to reinforce those behaviors. You want to reinforce that flywheel. So you want to celebrate your wins. Let your winners run. As long as they have a strong investment thesis and as long as the metrics that you're following are good, well, you made the harder work. You did find a winner. So why would you limit yourself at 20%, 50%, 100% gain when this company has probably the potential to reach 300, 500, 1,000% return? And yes, that happens, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in the next 3 years. It's going to happen the next decade, maybe. But the point again is if you let your winners run, you're going to remember, oh my God, that's a great reminder. It's green everywhere in my portfolio, or most of it is green, because whenever you have losers, you go through your selling rules and then you clear them, or you still have the conviction in those. So you always act from a place of confidence. You know why you invest and you know where you're going. So it increases over time as you make it simple, you make it fast, you make it clear, and then you reinforce your behaviors by contemplating your winners, which is always good. If you want more tricks like this, you can subscribe to my newsletter, moosemarkets.com/newsletter. Pretty easy, right? moosemarkets.com/newsletter. Tomorrow, we're going to make a comparison between Granite and Canadian Tire REIT. So should you invest in REITs anyways? So 2 great REIT that I love. We're going to take a look at them and see which one deserve a spot in your portfolio. All right, Moose, that's enough for today. We're going to talk again tomorrow. Until then, don't forget to stay invested.